Peace and blessings, beautiful souls, magnificent beings. In this video, we could cover and uncover what did the CDC know as it regards autism, the MMR vaccine, and black boys. Allow us to check it out.
Let it go to voicemail. There was no voicemail. Curiosity got the best of me. I called it back. It was William Thompson.
Wow.
After all these years. And he starts confessing. Confessing the CDC is committing fraud. The CDC has lied. And, I was kind of the Mercury.
So a little bit of backdrop on William Thompson. He's one of the ones who came forth and brought out this information later about what the CDC knew as it regarded MMR vaccines and black children being given it within the first 12 or 15 months of their lives and its likelihood of causing autism. Allow him to continue.
Guy. I was really concerned about thimerosal and vaccines. And he said, no, wait a minute. You need to look at the MMR. You need to look at the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. And he arranged a way for me to get data from an MMR study that the CDC had published back in 2004. And he entreated me. He said, go ahead and reanalyze this. And so I did. Something popped out very, very quickly within like an hour of sitting down with a data set. And it was about African-American males. And so I call him. I said, tell me about African-American males. His answer to me was, oh, you found it.
Wow.
You found it. Wow. And so I said, Bill, what did I find? Come to find out, if the CDC would have been truthful and would have published the information, they would have admitted back in 2004 that African-American males that receive the MMR on time, that's anywhere between 12 and 15 months of age, are 3.8 times more likely to get an autism diagnosis than.
So imagine that. And this is the situation that many individuals continue to try to deny. And this is not just happening to black people. There's a lot of corruption that is going on with many individuals of all race and ethnicity within this country. But specifically speaking, because I am black and these things tend to creep up a lot when we're talking about the government, it's corruption and its targeting of black people for whatever corruption it is engaged in. So this is the reason why these things are profound and are necessary to understand. So we have an organization that we have entrusted our health to, meaning that we have entrusted them to do what's best, find out what's going on a large scale, and to prevent these things from happening when it comes to the Center for Disease and Control, the CDC. But yet they allowed this to continue because profit outweighs the goal and the desire to keep Americans fully healthy, and some racial bias is likely in it and or racism. I don't know. But it seems to be that way, according to this individual right here. Allow him to continue.
And if they merely wait until they're after 3 years of age.
And at the time, if they...
So literally said, if they had the information that showed that if they waited until they was after 3 years of age, that 3.8% higher likelihood would diminish. I think it's 3.8. He may have said more. All right.
They would have admitted this information and brought it out.
Yes.
In 2001 or 2002, how many black boys would have been saved from having an autism diagnosis if they would have admitted it at that time?
That was 23 years ago. So if you look at the history of autism cases over that 23-year time period, it would have prevented about 350,000 autism cases in the U.S. alone for African-American males. 350,000.
See, and this is why there's a reason why we don't trust this government. And this is one of those reasons.
So again, one of the key components that you and I must come to understand is this: We live in a situation where we have given people and put people in the position to guard our self-interest, guard our health when it comes to our taxpayer money going towards these organizations. But these organizations have been corrupted, and most of it is because of the money that is involved in particular and specific situations when it comes to these vaccines and or these pharmaceutical drugs. And this is why one of the reasons they cannot be trusted is because they are getting funding and or are being promised lucrative careers. I'm talking about these individuals who are in the government, who are in the agencies, that they have what is called a revolving door, that many individuals come from these pharmaceutical companies and things of that nature, and they get into the government. And then when they leave the government, they go back to the pharmaceutical companies because they have been able to push for their agenda or lobby, or they get in a position where they're lobbying for a specific thing. Particularly, it's usually drugs or vaccines for these pharmaceutical companies. And this is a conflict of interest. And this is why, if you're not aware of how these things operate, you should become aware, because it's out there. They have been exposed, and take away the partisanship that you may be dealing with. I'm not partisan at all. I don't deal with the Dems or the reps on that level. I don't identify as a Democrat, and I don't identify as a Republican. I identify with whatever truth is coming from anyone. If I can see that it's the truth, that's what I ride with. So I don't believe in putting on these banners saying that I'm this political stance, and I lock myself into a position where I'm almost forced to be opposed to anything that's coming from the other position or political standing, the left versus the right, conservative versus liberal, etc. So again, I don't rock with those titles. I go with things that I see that it's natural, that I can discern when I am exposed to the information that is necessary to be exposed to. And I don't allow my biases to keep me away from that which can be proven true, even though it's coming from a particular individual. And this is why we must keep this in order. Peace.